play this game, you can make as much as you going to for 9 to 5.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chun Weng and you are tuning in to the second episode of the Crypto Kopitiam. Usually what happens is that I talk to the camera and the camera doesn't talk back. But today I actually have a few friends with me and we also have a very, very special guest. So we would like to welcome Lau to the Crypto Kopitiam. Welcome Lau.
Hi.
So Lau is not just a crypto fanatic, he is also a beatboxer and has actually founded a beatboxing company. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
All right. So Lau, you have a really interesting nickname. Word on the street is that they call you ABeatC. So I did a bit of digging and I couldn't help but notice that you are a pretty big name in the Malaysian beatboxing scene. I'm just curious, right? Firstly, where did the name come from? And the second thing is, how did you transition from like beatboxing to crypto?
So yeah, I mean, I was just in my class one day. I was just doodling. I wrote the alphabets and I was like ABC. Oh hey, what if you just put a beat in there and then ABeatC? Oh hey, that's kind of cool. Let's work at that. And that's just how ABeatC came along. And I since then I've been beatboxing for I think how many years? 14. Yeah, this would be the 14th year of me beatboxing. How did I went from beatboxing to crypto is also another story where I just saw the opportunity in it, and there were times where it kind of like the term Bitcoin or like digital money passed by my eyes once in a while, and I never really looked into it. But I was like, I mean, we all buy stuff from Lazada today, right? We buy from China or whatever. But I was from the era where like that wasn't thought of. Like people kept thinking like online shopping is a lot of scam. Like that was before Lazada, right? I was already doing middleman services for my friends in uni. So I came across a lot of like digital payment like PayPal and all that. So digital money wasn't exactly that foreign to me. Like online banking, I was very fast at that. And between all that, like I heard about like dark web, where you can buy illicit drugs, buy guns, buy gun for hire, all that stuff. It sounds like fantasy tales. And then at one point, one of my friends, when we hung out, he was like, "Hey man, have you ever heard of Bitcoin?" I was like, "Oh, isn't that the dark web money?" Then he was like, "Yeah, you can buy."
Wait, which year is this year?
Oh, this was when I came back from my travels. So I want to say 2015-ish, something like that. Yeah, somewhere there. So it came across my visuals, and yeah, I didn't really go into it until I think about the end of that same year. So no, not that. Sorry, about 2017 or 2018, somewhere there. One of my friends, turns out they are opening mining rigs. They're opening mining farms, and I was like, oh, okay, Bitcoin seems to be going up and up and up, but how much more you can earn? And then there was this thing called Ethereum. I was like, oh, you can mine Ethereum and then you can, hold it or whatever. I was like, okay, then buy and hold up. So I was one of those people who got in Ethereum at, I think, $300. And then
oh my god, wait, US dollars?
Yeah. So it went up to $1,800. That was the all-time high then. Mm-hmm. So I was one of those lucky people who didn't sell. So I think I held a total about like, I think it was like 8 Ethereum or something like that. It wasn't like huge money. Like honestly, it was just a very small amount. And I watch it went all the way up, then all the way down, went all the way to $90. And then that's the story.
What was the motivation behind like holding on to something like that? Because most people, right, if they were in your shoes, right, I mean, you held it since like $400, right? Most people were sold at $800 for sure.
The thing is, the reason why is because number one, it was a very cool thing to me, and because we bought into the rigs, you see, we had the mining rig. So the whole idea was that you need to recover costs, then only you can pure profit. So I was thinking like, okay, sure, we can sell it now, but if I hold it and it keeps on growing, eventually, like, it'll be big enough to cover cost and profit. So when it was at the peak, at the very, very peak, there was actually break point. Like there was a break even point. I was like, okay, I could sell now and then break even. But I didn't. I was like, okay, maybe it'll go up more. And then it started
Yeah.
to think. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
everyone has that
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah. And then it went down. It was like, it came back up. I was like, oh, and then it went all the way down further. I was like, oh my gosh, So at the bottom, at the time, I think I went back to like $300. I was like, if I sell now, it will literally be the worst decision ever. Like you literally wasted like a year of mining for nothing. So I was like, okay, freak it lah, just hold it lah. Because it wasn't like money that I need to like take back immediately. It was like I was yeah, it didn't affect my personal life. I was able to have that side money to put in, which is a very lucky thing, honestly. Like if it wasn't a side money, I think I would have sold it. I would have vowed by now. I would call Bitcoin a scam today. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Lau. So talking back about being a beatboxer and coming into crypto, would you say like your time in beatboxing actually get lesser and lesser? Because like, yeah, for me personally, yeah, ever since I started crypto, I start learning a lot more about it. I put more time into it, and and then other things I do in my life actually get lesser time that I'm able to allocate to. So do you have the same thing happen to you?
Okay, so to me, I think the most important resource for human, there's only two things. You can classify as money and time. So which one would you want? You want more money, you want more time. So for me, it's more time. But these days, like you, I spend my time on crypto a lot. So I take the earning I get from crypto to get myself more time to spend more time in crypto, unfortunately. My beatboxing beatboxing path, as of the moment, I don't really get involved into like participating in events anymore. I'm more of the back end, like, because we're very fortunate to have a very, very dedicated team. So I can really pass them stuff and I could like trust them to do things. So yeah, like with all that being said, I'm able to free myself to do stuff. I like to be in part of the beatboxing community. I like to help them grow, but in a it's more like a backseat role at the moment. Yeah, this beatbox, crypto it pretty much took over my life.
Yeah, but you still seem to have like a lot of spare time. I know I watched like your YouTube videos. Some of the Pokemon card openings. Yeah, the Pokemon card openings and things like that. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Pokemon is a very interesting thing. It was never really a huge part of my childhood. My childhood was more into Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic, actually.
Oh god, yeah, I love Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, in my primary school it was Yu-Gi-Oh. In my high school was Magic. Pokemon was only like in between for like a bit. I don't even own any Pokemon back then. And now growing up, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's very surprising because back then I always thought Pokemon is literally meant for kids. And then back then I was like, no, I don't want to be the kid, I don't want to be classified as a kid, I want to be a cool kid. So I want to play Magic because there's cooler graphics. Anyway, but as I grew up and I look back, and I look at Pokemon cards today, you really look at it and go like, okay, you know what? It's not so much on like it's marketed for kids. It's just the fact that the art is actually pretty cool. So that's why I started going to it, and then so I I get Pokemon cards. It's just like a hobby thing for fun, and then beatboxing and crypto and yeah.
Got it. But so ultimately, right, how did everything sort of like just accumulated together and then it just sort of set up the path for the Lambda Society, right?
Yeah.
I heard that there's this quote that was famously said, right, where like you can only connect the dots looking backwards, right? So I was just wondering, like, how did the dots eventually connect to the Lambda Society and how did it start?
Wow. Okay. So the thing is, like, after the whole 90% drop in crypto, I kind of backed out. I kind of just focused on other stuff in my life. It kind of got back into my focus again is because my friend was actually which is actually my partner today in Lambda, Adrian. He kind of got me back into it. We found a few different opportunities, and then one of it being staking, like proof of stake. So you could like open stake pools for networks that you want to support. So at the time, I found Cardano. Looking into it, learn about Charles, learn about the whole Goguen, the whole protocol, the whole future that they have in mind. And then it was like, okay, it's kind of cool. So let's try and do a stake pool. The truth is, like, we started a stake pool thinking that we could make like, I don't know, a few 100% APY a year, because that was actually literally what's on that Cardano calculator. So if anyone here that wants to open a Cardano stake pool, let me just tell you, that calculator is a lie. Do not follow that calculator. You do not get that rate at all. It tells you 100%. That's a 100% lie. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, regardless. So, we started Lambda Society. Actually, it was more like Lambda stake pool. That was actually the prototype of it. We started the stake pool. We tried to get people on, and then all this stuff. It just started growing, and realized that with the stake pool, we started to have a huge support. At one point, we even had a whale coming in with like, how much? I think like 15 or 16 million ADA.
Oh,
It just,
God.
they just came out of nowhere.
How much is that?
I think at one point at the peak, our stake pool was worth 100 million ringgit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because ADA at one point was $1, right? So that was there. Yeah, it was there. And then we reached about 25 million ADA. So it was, a little bit over 100 million. Yeah. Again, just for tax clarification, we did not take that as a revenue. That's not a revenue. That's not an income. There's nothing. It's just how much we have. We don't earn that. Let's be clear. FHTN,
How much do you guys have in the staking pool?
Yeah,
right?
it's just a staking pool. It's not our
That's
money.
right.
It's not our actual money. So anyway, so yeah, like it was really like something like, like we saw it grow so much. We're like, oh my gosh, like we now have some form of an income from Cardano. Shall we look into other stuff? So we started thinking like, maybe it should be a Lambda Society where we could like open opportunities. So we started opening up, and there were traders. There were like one of the CoinGecko's employees actually in our chat, which is very surprising. So there was a lot of people, a mix of people, like not even Malaysian, like foreigners, UK, and all this started coming in, and we started talking, and it just organically grew itself. So now we just explore different projects, and it's really fun so far. Yeah.
Yeah, about that, right? Lau, so you guys started off with Cardano, but as I remember, by the time when Cardano staking started, I think you have experienced this as well. A lot of people actually have a very negative sentiments toward Cardano. And a lot of people, they just got what we call FUDed out. So what FUD means is actually someone keep saying negative thing until you don't want to touch it. But why you still go for that? Like, a lot of people tell you negative thing about it.
I think at that time we didn't really venture beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. So when we wanted to start looking to alts, the first thing I found was actually Cardano. I was like, it was kind of funny how I even come across it. It was like I was trying to look for passive income in crypto, because right now the whole idea is either you trade or you hold, which just doesn't make sense, because it's just exactly like 2018. And I've been through 2018, and I felt like the last thing I want is to hold my coins and watch it go down 90% again. All right, I'm gonna jump off. If it goes down like that, I'll jump with it. So I wanted to find ways where I could either earn in dollar or earn in my coin, so that when the thing happens again, I have enough to not worry. So the first thing I found was staking. All right, proof of stake, and venturing, because it was proof of work and proof of stake. So proof of stake, the first thing that came out was Cardano. So I read about it.
But just for like the beginners the beginners that will be watching this video, could you guys sort of explain like what proof of stake is?
Yeah, sure. So proof of work is basically the way I always explain it is imagine an actual gold mine, and you have actual miners, and then there's a boss. The boss pays money to the miners to punch in at a punch card, to punch in and go to the literal mine and dig out gold and bring it to the boss, and the boss sells it for profit, an actual mine, right? Proof of work, right? The proof of work is the miners clocking in, clocking out. So they prove that they actually work on whatever that they're doing, digging the mine. So in crypto sense, that can be the mining rig, literally calculating the formulas, computing any complex algorithm that needs to be solved and completing it, having the proof of work, and then getting the reward, pass it to the boss, which in this case is the mining rig owner, which then sells it for profit, which is the Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Proof of stake is more like who has the most amount of the token, means that they have more say in the entire atmosphere of it. So imagine a swimming pool with 100 fishes. Someone owns 60 of the fishes in that 100 fish pool. So hence he is the majority, like a company. So then he can have to say, he says that I want this pool to now split into two parts, and I want to split 30 here, 30 there, and then the rest of it, whatever. Like, and then he will now become the minority in both pools because he's now 30 and then there's like 40 on the other side. So at the same, so proof of stake is whoever have more, you have more says. So that's the very non-crypto way of explaining stuff. And so how do you make money with proof of stake? Is that at least for Cardano, it's a lottery. So for every token that is staked, it's literally a lottery ticket. I'm not saying that it's a gamble. Again, HDM, please be aware this is not gamble. This is just protocol. All right. So there's a figurative wheel of fortune. It's gonna spin with the millions of tokens in the system, and when it hits the right token, the stake pool that had that ticket matching that, they will be assigned a data block to work on. So it's a literal wheel of fortune so that you can get to work. The prize of the wheel of fortune is that you get to work. And when you get to work, your stake pool will then get the reward for working, and that reward will be spread to all the people that stake in that pool. So I hope that's a better way of sharing it, because it's very hard to not get into the details and try to explain the concept. But yeah, I hope that helps. But anyway, yeah. So that's stake pool. And so why did we even do Cardano is also because it was cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It was so cheap. It is literally the lowest PC requirement you can ever find in all of the staking system. Like you look at Solana, it uses a very high-end tech, like that thing costs like 5 digit in ringgit. You look at Harmony. Harmony is not high, but the upfront staking token is a lot. What else? Mina protocol as well. We're considering some of these, but Mina also requires a lot of Mina holding to be able to do it. The PC requirement is not high. So for us, we were looking at ADA. I think that time ADA was like, how much is it? 15 cents. Yeah, I bought in like between 24 to 33 cents. My partner, he bought in about 19 cents. So at that time, we only needed to stake 50,000 ADA, and there were 3 of us. We'll look at it like, dude, this is like 2,000 ringgit. Okay, let's do it. So, and then we got someone to help with the setting up the stake pool, the PC side as well. So it was very, very straightforward. It was very low budget, and we were willing to, test it out. Yeah.
How do you guys like spot the gems though? Like, like how do you guys get like the latest news in the crypto world? That is something that I often ask. Like
for me, I think it's like I mainly like, because I think when you actually started involved in crypto, you will start to find news yourself. You become proactive in finding news. So you're not getting feed, but instead like you are the one who go out to find. So either Google search on Twitter or Facebook, you find everywhere that there is a news to update you the latest update and stuff.
Correct. Yep, exactly. So just bouncing off that, like one of the best places is actually social media, but you have to find the right social medium. So like, for example, YouTubers, obviously you go YouTube, but for crypto, the people that I don't want to say that they matter, is that but it's the hottest place where people often express their opinions on coins, or like when protocol updates themselves is often on Twitter. Yeah, Twitter is the best place. They have mediums, so like a protocol will have their medium, but those are long form content. Something that's more updated, more current, easy consumption is often Twitter. But try to make sure you follow people who I would say have principles, because crypto is such a lucrative industry that you can make money without holding any coins. right? So oftentimes you see Twitter's handle, they're just shilling random coin with like 20 million market cap. And then it's like, this is the thing that's going to revolutionize the world. And then you look at it, you never understand what's going on. But then you're like, oh, this guy has 100K followers. Everybody loved it. Everybody's retweeting it. It must be real. Let me put like $2,000 in it and see what happens. And then that $2,000 becomes $1,000. You're like, oh no, whatever. And then you get out, right? So you without even realizing it, you became what we like to call exit liquidity. Because basically for a whale to exit a position, the market needs liquidity. So what the whale does is that when they buy in, so the price will pump, and then they tell you, hey, you should buy in. We're all coming in together. So you buy in so that it pumps higher. And then up to a certain point, you become the whale's exit liquidity. So that when it goes down halfway, you're like, oh, it's okay. It's only halfway. And then before you know it, 1 year down the road, it's like down the drain. And then you're like, oh, you just became exit liquidity without even knowing it. So it's really important to figure who you follow is someone that's actually legit. Yeah, it's quite important.
Yeah, that's very true. Back to Lambda Society. You guys said you changed from Lambda staking pool to Lambda Society because you want to have this Lambda thing to actually help out a lot more things, to open opportunity to a lot more people.
Yeah.
And I came across that you guys do something called Axie Infinity Scholarship.
Yeah.
It is an NFT game. So how do you go for like staking to NFT game? And what's actually interesting in Axie Infinity that let you guys do so?
I think the very straightforward answer is always about opportunity. Because crypto is so if you look at it as an asset class, right? The ups and downs of it is so volatile, right? It's so short-lived, right? If you say that 4 years is a lot, if you think in a property sense, that's you haven't even ROI halfway. Like you can't, like if you're talking about stocks, right? You're talking about 2x in like what, 2 years, you get the 2x once, and that's like already legend. But in crypto, is like literally tomorrow you can 2x. Like that's how crazy it is. So before that being said, it's always about finding the right opportunity. And for us, we find opportunity in the sense of like we want something that's long lasting, that is for the people that's around us and for ourselves, and overall as a crypto concept, it's long lasting. So we look at Axie Infinity and realize that this whole NFT world, there's a lot of opportunities, but most of the time people kind of build project that doesn't really last. And when we look at Axie, it's growing very rapidly, and it's very under the radar. A lot of people still think that Axie is like, oh, so expensive, and there's this, you have to set up MetaMask, you have to buy the Axie, you need to learn the meta, blah, 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 blah. But if you think about it, when you start the game, it's the same thing. Like you had to buy the CD, which is what, 200 ringgit. You had to learn to pick up the gun. You have to learn to aim and shoot. It's the same thing. If you play RPG, if you play Final Fantasy, it's the same thing. Like you had to plan, you had to strategize. So there's nothing different. It's just a matter of like people's willingness to learn, right? If they want to learn, like it's very, very easy to understand actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I made a video on it, right? Yeah, this is the video on Axie Infinity that is in collaboration with Lambda Society. But the biggest problem that I get, right, is that everyone's telling me that, it's a scam and things like that. People just can't wrap their heads around the fact that, yes, you can just make a living from actually just playing a game. What would you say to people like that, actually?
I would say try to think about this. Yeah, try. I would say think of it this way. 20 years ago, arcades are considered a bad thing, right? Kids are forbid to join arcades. 20 years later, mom and dads are buying 10,000 ringgit rigs for their kids to play. And this is no joke, Dota, right? You're buying 3070s to play Dota, to play LOL. You're buying them like 4K iPhone to play Mobile Legend, right? And 20 years ago, the same parents would have get whacked by their own parents if they go to the arcade to spend 2 ringgit to play a shooting game. What was it called? Time Crisis, something? So the logic is already changed. The mindset has already changed. The culture have already changed. It's just that this is another step that people need time to digest. And that's fine. That's totally fine. like I think people, the generation today is not just the younger generation, but the older generation is being influenced in the idea of instant gratification, because your mobile phone has now allowed you to order something without you leaving your chair and being butt naked in your bed. That's how instant gratification sounds like today. So when you tell someone that this thing is moving so fast, it went from arcade to the first Dota game ever to T1, the TI1 to TI, I think it was 10 right now.
Yeah, TI10.
And TI10 now to Axie Infinity. In a span of 20 years, it's very hard to wrap yourself around. Like esport people that I talk to, they are skeptical themselves. They are the people who are playing Dota competitively, telling them, hey, you don't have to compete anymore. Just play this game. You can make as much as you going to for 9 to 5. And they ask you like, hey, no lah, bro, don't joke lah. Where got like that one? Like I Dota, I need to sell skin 50 ringgit. I lucky already. So it's very hard to share that idea that play to earn is an existing thing that it's running today. Like Axie Infinity is just one game. We found like at least half a dozen of games where it's just browser games and you can literally make half of a living out of it. 2 of the games, you're kind of set for the month. Like you don't have to leave your chair. That's how crazy it sounds. But that's just how it is. And people who don't understand it, like this is what I often say, like innovation, it's a very bad way. Like you kind of look over a lot of things, but this is a very simple way to say, like, innovate or die. You know what I mean? So either you understand what innovation is, or you can stay still. It's fine. But the same people who love the old school hip hop today, you can't hear them anymore because the majority of us are listening to Nicki Minaj, like it or not. That's just innovation. I mean, it's not
I think
saying
it's Cardi B now, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying that they are the innovation, like get me right. I like old school hip hop. I like the boom bap. I actually do. But the problem is the majority is moving with it, the innovation, right? So what can you do? Either you innovate, you bring the old school and integrate it or be better, or you're just going to stay there and you're just going to be like newspaper.
Yeah.
Well,
I think people also don't take into account like Moore's law, right? Whereby like every single year, the innovation actually doubles, right? And you sort of like doubles and doubles and doubles, right? It took us like so long just to go from like a large TV to a computer screen, but it only took us like 10 years to go from like a computer screen to eventually like mobile phone and things like that. And I think people are really underestimating how fast technology is growing at this point. So yeah, for the people that doubt it, I mean, it's really like a loss of opportunity lah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, Lau, do you have any alpha for us? Like, do you have anything to drop for us? Like, what's the project like? So you saw a gem called Axie Infinity. So is there anything on your mind that you guys are so excited about that you think like, yeah, this is the future also?
I don't. Okay, so here's the thing about me. When people ask me, hey, is it time to buy Bitcoin yet? I often say yes, but they don't do it. So when I talk about something, it often needs for it to rocket before they actually listen to me. So when I say something, it's very hard for people to believe. But I think that trading is not for everyone. If you are someone who have no trading experience, you want to try, go right ahead. But if you realize that it's not your thing, believe me when I say this, there's more than one way to earn in today's world, right? Crypto or not, it doesn't matter. I'm not just generally speaking. And when you zoom into crypto, you realize that you can hold, you can trade. But that's the 2018 concept. Now you can yield farm, you can stake, you can play game. There's so many ways to earn it. And the alpha I would say is that do first understand the macro picture. Where is the entire thing going? Like honestly, you can ask people, Have you ever read the Ethereum white paper? Have you ever read the Bitcoin white paper? Have you read that thing? Like, go read it. Like, read it. Why are we in a 1.5 trillion market cap? Why did it reach 2 trillion? Why? Like, you have to, like people are saying things like it's still a Ponzi. I'm like, okay, explain to me why it's a Ponzi then. Have you read the white paper? Do you think a Ponzi writes a white paper like this? Right? You have to give me a substantial reason, not because someone told you it's a Ponzi, so it's a Ponzi. Yeah lah. I mean, if you want to talk like that, then I can't say anything. So my alpha is go and read the Bitcoin and the Ethereum white paper. Yeah, that will help you understand the system so much faster than you asking your best friend, "Hey bro, should I buy Bitcoin today?" So that's just how it is.
So the next question that I sort of have for you is sort of like, what is Lambda's future plans actually? And what is Lambda's vision and mission? I know that, as with most companies, when they first start off, they're not really thinking that much about the vision, mission, and everything like that. But now that Lambda's sort of like big enough and sort of at the point where you guys sort of like have a vision and mission already, right, at this point?
I wouldn't say we're big. I would say we just started. We literally started like the start of the year.
But in the time, I would say in the crypto world, things move very, very quickly. So I would say that it's quite mature already in a weird kind of way.
I would. So because Lambda is the way we see it, it's not a top to bottom perspective. Yeah, I mean, it's always like what everybody is thinking about, and then we kind of come together. So between myself and like Adrian, my partner, it's not here today, but in the Axie side we have Aaron as well. Like on the stake pool side we have Max as well. So we do have people on different part of things, and then we all kind of work together and look into different sectors. The vision overall, like the end goal here is not like we're trying to make $1 billion, blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. It's not about the money, believe it or not. It's just about a very, very simple thing. We're just trying to make crypto beginner friendly. That's it. Like, we're just trying to let people understand what is proof of work, what is proof of stake. You can make money playing a game. You should read the Bitcoin white paper. You should read the Ethereum white paper. You should understand what the London fork is going to happen. When is it going to happen? And what is it going to do to Ethereum? And what is that going to do to the entire crypto market? You need to understand what's the flippening. You need to understand why Doge is such a thing. You need to understand these things before you step in. That's all we're trying to do. And in the process of doing all that, whatever that comes in our way, we just look at it and go like, okay, will this help us get to our goal? If it does, then, by all means, let's go do it. If it doesn't, if it's just like a short-term cash grab, we may jump in, cash grab, right? If it's not worth the time, we just let it go lah. We'll let it slide. Yeah.
That is like really, that is a really, really interesting thing. So what you guys do along the way is like, whenever you have faced something like new or things like that, you guys just see like if this opportunity for the masses to learn more about it, and you guys just go ahead and do it. Is that like how the whole Lambda Society operates?
Yeah, more or less.
So what's your hope for Lambda in the coming year? And also like, also another question I want to ask, I am also personally curious to know what is Lambda's thought process about, say, potentially a crypto winter?
The hope at the moment, actually, in the short term, is that we see the bear is imminent. It's just a matter of when. So we are always constantly preparing for it. Hence, we have the whole staking. Hence, we have the whole Axie thing. That's the, I would say, what I would say the short term. We're preparing for the bear. And the bear for us is medium term. So during the bear, we will figure out every other thing to make sure that whatever we prepare is constantly generating revenue for everyone to grow. And we'll prepare for the next bear. So that's kind of like what we're doing. So when you ask me like what we plan to do in crypto winter, honestly, nothing. if there's things that we can do, most likely in my very immediate thought is most likely just scalp trading. I don't know, like people do trades. This is what I learned is that, okay, again, I'm not encouraging anybody to go trading or whatever, but you need to understand that these are what whales do. During the bear market, they will find the best position in the world. They'll dump like 7 or 8 digit in it and they'll let go. And then they'll just let it ride to the moon. That's what they'd always do. So that's why it's always a cycle, right? You go from Bitcoin to Ethereum to alts, and then you just siphon your profit in between. And then whenever you feel like it, you just take some out to go and enjoy life with. But the rest of it is going to be here. You're just circulating between the three. So during the bear market, most likely people will be holding a lot of stable coins. And they will always try to find the best positions for their favorite coins. And if it's a crypto winter, it is literally the best time to be in crypto, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the best time. You have no rush in deciding what coin you want to get into. You have no rush into aping into stuff you don't understand. You have a lot of time to do all that. And besides, you can live a life with no stress.
Yeah, and I think that you wouldn't have to worry about the prices just falling to zero the next day or something like that. The anxiety level is like much lower, at least from my experience. But okay, let's move into a non-financial advice section, simply because I do want to ask you a little bit about what are your thoughts on the upcoming bear market, right? So a lot of people are saying that, this year is going to be the exact same with the 2017 crash, with the 2013 crash. So as you've mentioned just now previously, we usually enter sort of like a bull market, and then we crash for a few years, and then it goes back up again, we crash for a few years. Usually it is synchronized with the halving. So for people that don't know what the halving is, it is when supply is reduced by half. The generation of Bitcoin supply is reduced by half every 4 years approximately. And so that is when the bull market spikes. So just wondering if you think that the crypto winter will be as long as the previous crypto winters, and if not, why would you think so? Yeah.
My personal opinion is, so when I started crypto, I spent a lot of time trying to understand the macro. Right? Where is it overall going to be? Like it or not, 6-digit Bitcoin, 5-digit Ethereum, it's inevitable. The flippening is inevitable. These inevitable things allows me to have a form of like sense of calm and clarity, right? Again, non-financial advice. People really need to understand what the heck did I just say on their own, right? I'm not going to give like whatever breadcrumbs. But the point is, with all that being said, right, whatever you see today is, personally, I think is very similar to the 2012, 2013. I didn't live through that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But based on what I've looked into, what I've heard, totally speculations, I am totally not credible to say anything like this. Just personal opinion is that we might see double peak, right? So right now we've seen 60K. Then now we're going down. Now we're like, what, 30? What are we? 37, right? Something like that. 35.
Yeah, around that, 35.
Yeah. So, 50% drawdown. So we're just late. We're going to be late. But actually, there's one particular channel that I really like. Is a Benjamin Cohen. He's no fluff. There's no fluff in the content at all. When it's 10 minutes, it's pure 10 minutes of just talking charts and like lengthening, like diminishing returns and Bitcoin, the whole thing in a very simple mathematical manner. And then you look at it and go like, oh, well then, I guess we're fine. Like, because based on whatever he said, that is nothing that is happening today is literally not out of the ordinary. This is normal. We are meant to have this 50% drawdown. We're meant to be here. It is fine, because literally the past 4 cycles, more or less, not the past 4, but the 2012, 2013 one, is pretty much the same thing. So we're kind of okay, unless we really struggle to get back up for the next year. But in the next few months, we may see some, after a few months, right? Which is crazy if you think in crypto, a few months is like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die waiting. But bro, it's not even half a year kind of a situation, right? Like, again, you're talking about investing, half a year is a death to people to wait. How crazy is that? Anyway, yeah, with that length of time, we might see some glimmer of hope after a while. We need to wait. We need to be patient. Like we cannot look at every week down and go, oh, this is it. Let's put our money in. Don't do that. Oh my gosh! Like just if you're scared, just DCA, right? Every week just put a very comfortable amount, like 10 ringgit. Put 10 ringgit a week. It's like three, huh?
We might need you to sort of explain like what DCA is, though.
Oh, okay. So DCA means dollar cost averaging, meaning like you gradually increase your position on an asset in regardless of its current price, right? Because you believe in overall it will go up. But of course, with this strategy, when it's up, let's say you bought it at a very expensive rate, but because you bought it as the same amount as you bought it as a bottom, right? It's the same amount. You put 100 ringgit at 60K and 100 ringgit at 30K. You average out, you're right smack dab in the middle, 45K. 200 ringgit in 45K range. So the moment it goes up to 45,001 ringgit, you made profit, right? So you don't have to wait for the whole range back up to 60 because you went and dumped all your family saving in at the 60K because you were doing 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. You realize that your DCA point, the average point was at 45K. So the moment it hits 50K, you're already in profit. You don't have to worry about, you don't need it to go back up to 60K anymore. So with that being said, right now in this particular range, we will see go up a bit, like a little bit, and then it's going to come back down like pretty hard. And then it's going to so it's going to do this for a while now. It's going to sideways for a while, a few months, in fact. And these months, like it or not, is, like I said just now, it's the best time to learn, right? There's not going to be any hype on any coins or anything because all these hype crypto Twitter, they're all going to be super quiet right now. They're all going to be super duper quiet. There's nothing to shield right now because everything that's shield confirmed going to get dumped. No one's there to shield right now. So it's the best time for you to understand fundamentally what are we looking at. And is a 35K Bitcoin cheap if you're looking at 100K Bitcoin? Technically, yeah, it's a 65% discount. If you go to Pasar Malam, you buy 2 for 1, it's 50% off, and then this is 65% off. This is a better deal than Pasar Malam technically. So it's always about perspective, it's always about macro. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the next question is a question that we will ask for all our guests on this show. What's your so Luno Malaysia, there is 5 coins: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, and Bitcoin Cash. So what is your top 3? Or if you don't have a top 3, you can just say your top 2 coins in Luno Malaysia.
I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum. What was it? XRP, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin, right?
Yep.
Litecoin.
Litecoin. Very interesting choice. Can you tell us more like why you choose Litecoin out of the 3?
Nothing. The 3 of them is the same to me. I hold none of them. I care none about them. The 3 of you is the same. I know. Like to me, Bitcoin, Ethereum is all I care about. I mean, amongst other coins, right? But XRP, Bitcoin Cash, and I found out that Bitcoin Cash, you can build dApps on Bitcoin Cash now, so that's very interesting. But no one's gonna use it. XRP is supposed to have Flare network. I don't know what happened to that. It never came out. Then what was it? Litecoin. Litecoin is only because of the Charles V. And because I don't know if you guys knew about this, but do you guys know Doge is a fork of Litecoin?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Right. Do you know what is at the back of Dogecoin's chain itself? It's actually Litecoin,
Yeah. Dogecoin is actually they are co-mining with Litecoin together.
Yes. So Litecoin is somehow supporting Dogecoin. So when Doge pumps, Litecoin pumps.
Oh, wait. This is an NFA, okay? NFA.
Yeah, non-financial advice. But it's crazy because when Litecoin came on their own mining, it wasn't that profitable. And then I think they put in Doge as a extra reward. Like no one really they were like, give me 1,000 Doge? No, sell it. Right? So back then, Doge was like what? Not even a cent worth, right? 1,000 of it, it's like less. let's say like what, 10 cents or $1 worth, 1,000 Dogecoin was $1 worth. Think about that. Like for 4 5 years, like no one, like everyone was just dumping it. Like no one cared. Imagine you were accumulating 1,000 Dogecoin like every month for funds for 5 years. You would at least do about 60,000 Doge today. And what was it, like 30 cents? Nice chunk money right there. 18K, yeah, 18K dollars, right? You could buy a Myvi with that stuff. So like, to me, you ask me, the three of them, I like Coin because it's supporting Doge. So when the next time Elon, send an actual literal Dogecoin to the moon, Litecoin will right be behind it lah. So
yeah, once again, just to remind everyone, this
NFA.
Yeah, this is an
NFA.
Yeah, this is for fun.
Don't go and buy like Dogecoin or whatever. If you want to, then go ahead. But yeah, so we're gonna end our podcast by asking you to explain it like I'm 5, right? So the word of the day for today is actually yield farming.
So I need to explain to you like you're 5 about yield farming, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to explain like I'm literally 5, but
in a simple way.
Yeah.
Okay, possible,
okay.
Right?
Sure. Okay, here's a very easy way of understanding it. Do you know what a farmer is?
Yeah.
Right? You farm rice, you plant a seed and then you farm, right? So to farm, you need a seed, right? You need a seed first. You need to put the seed in, you need to give it water, you need to give it soil, then it'll grow. Yield farming, the yield is what you're going to grow, right? But to grow the yield, you need capital, your money. So you put your money into the soil, which in this case is any of these protocols or platforms, whatever. They will give you crazy APRs and APY, which is annual percentage
return.
Percentage rate, annual percentage yield and annual percentage return. Return is uncompounded, yield is compounded. Okay, so they give you a crazy amount, like so APY of like 300%, meaning literally you put 1 ringgit in it, it will be 3 ringgit in 1 year, right? So yeah, there's a lot of these kind of farms around there, but they are bad farms and they are good farms. There are also bad produce and good produce. Some like to plant durian in the middle of the forest because it's quiet and blah, blah, blah. But the problem is the soil is bad. So your durian is going to suck. There are people who knew that planting rice in a very nice place with nice, what's that called? Water, what's litigation? Is that called litigation? When you have the water system, I don't know what's it called, but like having a good water coming in, good soil, all that stuff, and then your rice grows into very nice yield. So yield farming is basically choosing the right soil, putting the right seed, because you can't put your own money, you have to buy the actual seed. So it can be any seed that's in the market. It can be cake, it can be Luna, it can be Dogecoin if you like, and then you plant it into the right protocol that's not going to disappear tomorrow and gives you substantial APR, and you farm like a farmer.
Okay, so that's it for the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the Crypto Kopitiam. Thank you for joining us, Lau.
Thank you for joining us,
having me.
man.